34,000. That's a 3 and a 4. 34,000. 34,000 penguins? No ice cream cones? I wish, especially if they were mint chocolate chip. Nope. $34,000. That's what 90% of this country, that includes you and me, lives on every year. $34,000. 90%. That's a 9 and a 0. 9/10 of this country. $34,000. And this we have the 1.01%, earning these astronomical sums such as, I don't know, 100 billion is their net worth. Oh my God, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Mark Bezos, Jeff Zuckerberg, and others. They really needed that tax cut. Welcome to the age of Donald J. Trump, because the wealthy are so beleaguered. They're so beleaguered they can't make an honest buck anymore. They really needed that $1.5 trillion tax cut in a $20 trillion economy. Yes, I know it's $1.5 trillion over 10 years. So what? 34,000 and they've got like how many billion? Did they really need that tax cut? Or is it something else entirely? Yes, income inequality is always such a fun subject, right? Because it's top down. Yep. Your head goes like a Bobby doll. Whenever you're doing income inequality. Why? Because up is up and down is up. No, up is down and down is up, right? Bigger is better in most things in life, especially the boudoir. But not when it comes to income inequality. Bigger is badder. We don't want a lot of income inequality in this country. Otherwise, we'll wind up like, Venezuela. Yes. And when we think about it, ever since we as a people began counting income inequality back in the 30s, it was, the Gilded Age, it was pretty big. And then it started to get smaller with the visions of FDR, the Great Depression. Everybody was so shocked, 1/10 of the country out of work, all that kind of thing. He could afford to get radical. And he raised the taxes on the upper quintile, that's the most expensive, the people with the most money, and then the income inequality began to shrink. And the roaring 50s, remember those, the glory days, particularly if you were white and straight and male, not so much if you were a woman and you were of color, but still, the best time in America. And what was it? It was because of that very low or lower income inequality. Yes. And then we get to the 1970, and it's just some reverses. And now here we are in 2019, and it's ballooning, right? It's ballooning because of that tax cut. Thank you so much, Donnie. Right. Now, how do we all get into this? Oops. I did it again. The director says I can't go. She's like, what are you, a friggin' Hottentot? Well, guess what? What sits in Hottentot? Need a translation? I said in Hottentot, director, looks like that new boob cream of yours is working out. Yes. Where was I? Income inequality, yes. So it all began with the Britishman, yes. Should have known things would go pear-shaped then. Just kidding. Yes, John Locke, he was concerned that those grubby aristocrats, those aristos were trying to put their grubby paws on his property. So he wrote a treatise about the natural rights of man, which he said that it was natural law that a man, not necessarily a woman, was entitled to life, liberty, and estate. And then our very own Thomas Jefferson, founding father, fearlessly, in a move that Melania would understand so very well, and Joe Biden would applaud, he fearlessly plucked that phrase out of John Locke's writings and put it into the American Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and then when he had an attack of the guilts, he changed the third one to the pursuit of happiness, which, that makes sense, the pursuit of happiness. Yes. It's not, do we know that you're actually going to get happiness? But no, you have the right to pursue it, and we all know what Ivanka pursues these days. Yes, trademarks, 157 of them. Yes, and counting in the Oval. She's doing it from the White House. She's using the White House to get trademarks for a company that she no longer owns. Oops, I did it again. Yes, yes, yes. Which of course opens the door to all future presidents getting trademarks when they're in the Oval Office. Isn't that nice? It's just like Bill Clinton getting 9 blowjobs in the Oval Office, and he got to get off scot-free, which is why Nancy Pelosi is going to let Donnie get scot-free. Oh, no, it's not that at all, is it? Right? She said, no, we're not going to impeach him because, why? Well, because we don't have the votes in the Senate, because it says in the Constitution, thou shalt not vote to impeach the president unless you have the votes to convict him in the Senate. Ha! Yeah, right. What happened to our tigress? She's starting to sound more and more like a sick kitten these days. Anyway, yes, where was I? Life, liberty, property, estate. Yeah, so what is it about the wealthy? Why are they so like that? I mean, think about it. When they keep squeezing the stone like this, it's going to start to make the police a little bit angry because there won't be any money in the till to pay to raise their salaries. And what if they, oh no, stop responding to 911 calls in the gated community? Oops. Or firefighters. Oh, there's a house on fire and over in that gated community, you know, the McMansion section of town. Should we go over it? Nah. Why? Because they cut 2-3 positions. I think we're just overstretched this week, don't you? And pretty soon they'll have to hire their own doctors and then their own lawyers. Oh, they have always had those. Yes, right. So they start to retreat inside their walled enclave, and they start to more and more resemble those aristos that John Locke was bitching about so much, right? They hide in their tower inside their castle keep, terrified of the villagers down below. In fact, they're more worried about their own villagers than they are about the noble on the far hill. Why? Because he's not going to venture outside of his castle. Why? Because he's terrified of his villagers. Right. This is what the world looks like when you're the 1%. Did they really need that tax cut, or is it something else entirely? I think that they think that they are better than the rest of us. And I think that they are going to pursue this mistaken gambit at their peril. Because eventually, retreat inside the whole, your little castle keep, and you start to feel like a prisoner. Funny that. They've been screaming at the top of their lungs that they should have the freedom to acquire as much of the nation's wealth as they see fit. And instead, they only make themselves their own prisoner. Fair enough. That's them. What about the rest of us? The 90%, the 9/10 that lives on $34,000 a year or less. Well, if they don't want to wind up seeing torches and pitchforks in the night, I'm going to say to you 1%ers, get on the right side of history. There are lots of ways, you can Google them, lots of ways we can write this listing chip when it comes to income inequality. Me, because I'm such a slut, I'm going to go conservative this time, just once. And I'm going to ask for 3 things. I'm going to ask for $15 minimum wage, or if we're feeling cheap, I guess I can put up with 12, especially in the rural areas. I'm going to ask for Medicare for all, and I'm going to ask for pre-K through 14 free education, because hello, it's the 21st century, we're going to Mars soon. Yes, get on the right side of history, guys. Otherwise you'll find out that your efforts to take all of the money of this country is going to prove more expensive than you thought.